The legend of Bozorgmehr. In the 6th century, the king of India sent a mysterious package to the court of the Persian emperor Khosrow, one of the most powerful rulers of the ancient world. Inside the package was a game, a board, pieces, no instructions, and a letter that basically said, "Your wise men claim Persia is the greatest kingdom in the world. Prove it. Figure out this game, and if you can't, you owe us tribute." The Persian court was stumped. Nobody could crack it until one man stepped forward. His name was Bozorgmehr, a philosopher, a strategist, and arguably the greatest mind in the Persian Empire. He sat with the board for days, observed every piece, studied the relationships between them, and he didn't just figure out the game, he mastered it. But here's the part I love the most. Bozorgmehr didn't stop there. He actually sat down and invented an entirely new game, Takht-e-Nard, now what we know as backgammon, and sent it back to the Indian court with the same challenge. Now you figure this out. If you can't, you owe us tribute. The Indians couldn't solve it. So Persia won. Now why am I telling you this 1500-year-old story about board games? Because Bozorgmehr didn't panic when he was handed something unfamiliar and high stakes. He didn't react emotionally. He simply observed. And deeply observed. He read the situation before he played it. And that exact skill, the ability to read a situation instead of react to it, is what I want to talk to you about today. Now, the problem is when your sensitivity becomes the cage that you live in. Let me ask you something first. Do you constantly scan people's faces when you're talking to them? Their tone, their energy, the slight pause before they answer, the way their eyes move when you say something. Now, you're not doing this consciously necessarily, but it just happens. Like a background process running at all times, always asking, is something wrong? Did I say too much? Are they upset with me? Are they okay? Now, if this sounds familiar, your sensitivity is probably one of the things that makes you a deeply good human being. A deeply good person. You notice people, you care, you pick up on things that others miss entirely. But here's the cost that you're not thinking about, and nobody realizes it, is that it is exhausting. For you, conversations are never just conversations, they're just full body experiences. Even just talking to somebody you've known for years, someone you love, can set your nervous system on fire if their tone shifts even a little bit. A lot of people online will call this being an empath, and maybe that label resonates with you. But here's my honest take as a communication coach. The labels don't really solve anything. You can call yourself an empath all day and still lie awake at 1 a.m. replaying a conversation, convinced that somehow you made things worse. Because the real problem isn't your sensitivity, the real problem is what you're doing with it. And right now, you're using your sensitivity like an open wound, absorbing every emotional signal that is being sent to you, letting it pour in, everything that's around you, letting it settle in your body and your mind as if it were your own. And the result is you want to connect with people deeply, genuinely, you crave it, but your own hypervigilance keeps getting in your way. You're so busy managing your own emotional reaction to the room that you can't just be in the room. Now, the goal is to connect without the cost. Now, this is what I want for you. I want you to be able to walk into a room or a difficult conversation or a relationship that matters to you and be fully present. Not braced, not bracing for impact, not scanning constantly, not waiting for the first sign of tension, so that you can start preparing yourself for emotional defense. I want you to be able to build a real network of allies, of friends, of people who see you, who choose you, without being permanently on your toes. And there's a truth that I think a lot of sensitive people need to hear, and if you're watching this, you're probably one of them, that every human being, every single person craves a deeply human connection. But highly sensitive people have started to forget something important, that inconvenience is not a sign that something is wrong. Tension, friction, a difficult moment in a conversation, these are not emergencies. You don't have this red alarm going off on top of you. They are inevitable cost of true connection. Inconvenience is an inevitable cost of true connection. You cannot get close to another person without occasionally bumping into their edges. And what you think that as failure, it's not failure, that's intimacy. By the way, when I was struggling in my own closest relationships, I wish somebody gave me what I'm about to show you. I created India's first conflict resolution card game called Let's Fix It. It is a conversational tool that you can use to solve fights and conflicts with your loved ones. Relationships are like puzzles, and each fight reveals a missing piece. And most people avoid fights thinking that fights are going to damage relationships, when in reality, fights don't damage relationships. A lack of repair damages relationships. And Let's Fix It is your repair tool. It helps you create stronger bonds. It helps you solve fights and build stronger emotional bonds, and to make your relationships bulletproof. Now, Let's Fix It is available at beingbeyond.in and on Amazon. Now back to the video. The goal isn't to stop feeling. Your goal must be to stop letting other people's feelings become yours. I want to introduce you a concept that changed how I think about sensitive communication, and it's called tactical empathy. It was popularized by a man named Chris Voss, a former FBI hostage negotiator who spent decades and decades talking to terrorists, kidnappers, and people in the most volatile, high-stakes situations imaginable. Think about this for a second. His job was to walk into situations of extreme emotional intensity where one wrong word could cost a life, and somehow find a way to connect, to de-escalate, to reach to the other person. Now, he didn't do it by reacting emotionally, that's for sure. And he definitely didn't do it by absorbing the other person's fear or rage in his own body. He did it by understanding the other person's emotions better than they understood it themselves, and then naming those emotions calmly, precisely, and without judgment. That is tactical empathy. It's not about feeling less. It is about actually using your ability to feel, to read emotions as a skill, a deliberate, directed tool, rather than a passive experience that just happens to you. Think of it the way Bozorgmehr approached the chessboard. By the way, that was the game that Indians brought to Persia, was chess, Chaturanga. He didn't panic. He didn't play the game immediately and reactively. Instead, what he did was, he studied it first. He understood it before he engaged with it. Tactical empathy is the same thing applied to human emotion. Now, the benefit, you might be thinking, Ipsita, why do I care about tactical empathy? What should I do with it now? What's the benefit? Well, the benefit is it takes you from your vulnerability, making it your superpower. And here's how you start using tactical empathy. Your sensitivity, the very thing that is draining you, it becomes an asset. Because this is what's happening. You're already reading people. You're already picking up on the microsignals that most people miss out completely. You have data that others don't. The only problem is right now that data is flooding your entire nervous system instead of informing your response. Now, tactical empathy gives you a container. Instead of absorbing what you feel from someone, you name it, you use it, you respond to that emotion, to the emotion you're reading, and in doing so, you make the other person feel deeply understood. Their nervous system settles, the conversation becomes cleaner, calmer, safer for both of you. You stop being the person, who goes home exhausted from every interaction, and you start becoming the person who others feel genuinely met by. Now, how to practice tactical empathy in real time? This is the process. 3 steps. You observe, you label, and you mirror. Now, how do you actually do it? Now, this is the framework. 3 steps, simple enough to remember in the middle of a hard conversation. Step 1, observe. Don't absorb. Read the moment you sense tension in a conversation and that familiar tightening in your chest, that shift in the other person's energy. Your usual instinct is to immediately start asking something. Did I do something wrong? What's happening? Should I fix this? Stop. Instead of moving inward to your own emotional reaction, move outward toward the other person. Get curious instead of anxious. Ask yourself, what are they feeling right now? Now, what you caused, not what you caused, not what it means for you. Just what is happening in this world right now, in this situation right now. Just what is happening in their world right now. And this is the most important first shift from self-focus to other focus, from absorbing to observing. It sounds small, but it is transformative if you do it right. Now, step 2, label. Name what you're reading. Name the emotion that you're reading. Once you've observed, you label. Get loud, but calmly. This is the core technique from Chris Voss's work, and it feels almost absurdly simple until you try it and watch what happens. You take what you're reading from the other person, the frustration, the stress, the withdrawal, and you name it in a neutral, non-accusatory way, by the way. That's the disclaimer, non-accusatory way. Not a question, not as an accusation, but just as a soft, gentle observation. but crisp observation. Here are some examples of what this sounds like in real life. Let me think about it. Okay. So instead of thinking, did I do something wrong? You say calmly, it seems like something about this situation is very frustrating to you. Instead of anxiously over-explaining, you say, it sounds like you're under a lot of pressure right now. Instead of going silent when someone seems distant, this is what you say. You say, it feels like something's been on your mind. Now, I want you to notice the language very closely. It seems like, it sounds like, it feels like. These phrases do something very specific. They are offering a label without claiming certainty. You're not telling them how they feel. You're reflecting back what you're observing and giving them the space to correct you or confirm. And this is the most powerful thing that is happening here, is when people feel accurately seen, their nervous system settles almost immediately. The tension in their body drops, they stop defending themselves and start opening up to you. Because you didn't fix their problem, you didn't take on their emotion, you simply acknowledged it. And that acknowledgement did more than almost anything else could. Step 3, mirror. Stay. Don't flee. The third step is mirroring. And this one is specifically for highly sensitive people, because our instinct when a conversation goes uncomfortable is often to find the exit, to over-apologize, to change the subject, to deflect with humor, to shut down. Now, mirroring means you're staying present in that situation. You're staying present. You repeat the last few meaningful words the other person said with a slightly curious tone. Nothing more. Let's say they say, I just feel like nothing I do is ever enough. You say, nothing you do is ever enough. That's it. You haven't agreed, you haven't disagreed, you haven't projected as well. You've simply reflected their words back to them. And in doing so, you've invited them to go deeper. Most of the time, they will. And the conversation will open up in a way that no amount of advice or reassurance ever could. So, observe, label, and mirror. 3 steps, but infinite depth. And I want to leave you with this. Your sensitivity was never the problem. You were just absorbing emotions instead of reading them. You need to become a people reader. You were playing the game reactively instead of studying the board first, like Bozorgmehr did. Understanding it before you engaged with it. The moment you turn your sensitivity into tactical empathy, something fantastically remarkable happens. The thing that has always made conversations feel like too much to you, your ability to feel everything in a room, becomes the exact reason people feel understood when they talk to you. So your greatest vulnerability becomes your greatest social intelligence. You don't have to feel less to feel better in conversations. You just have to redirect where this feeling goes. So start with one conversation this week, and the next time you sense tension, don't absorb it, observe it, label it, say it loudly, calmly, and watch what happens. And then come back and tell me. I genuinely want to know. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.